It may not be the best phone on the market, it may not be the most cutting edge design, but I do love this device and let me explain why. So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology. Why I love the Pixel 3 XL. Now first of all, I want to say some people are going to say, you know, it's not $479. In the US it's $479. If you're not in the US, it's probably a little bit more. So, you know, you could probably have a different perspective on it, whether this is a budget device depending on where you're at. But in the US, this is definitely a lot cheaper than most premium phones. Keep in mind, this has an OLED display. So this is the first reason why I really love this device. At this price point, getting a 1080p, which is pretty good resolution, 402 pixels per inch. The iPhone XR doesn't even have a display this sharp or this quality here with the, you know, OLED panel. So really good stuff here on the Pixel 3 XL when it comes to its OLED screen. Now what I found is that if you keep this thing in the boosted mode or the adaptive mode, you'll get a little bit better saturation, but in natural, it's a really less, you know, less than vibrant display. So keep it in one of these two for the best experience. What you'll notice is you'll get really deep blacks and really good colors when in video. So if we're watching a video here, so you can see here a Pixel 2 versus iPhone 10 camera comparison. You're just seeing really good colors here and very dark blacks. Look at the blacks right there, just really deep blacks. That's what you get with an OLED screen, very vibrant. So the display is definitely a thumbs up for the Pixel 3 XL. Next up is I've been pretty impressed with the processor performance. This thing actually does very well in performance for having a Snapdragon 670. It's not gonna feel slow whatsoever. And honestly, unless I was comparing it side by side, I didn't really even think about not having the Snapdragon 845 or 855 in here. Yes, you don't get the best synthetic benchmark scores. If you run this through a benchmark, you're gonna get pretty low scores for 2019, but still, this is not targeted as a premium phone, so it's acceptable. The Google OS on top of this, the stock version, makes this very smooth. So I actually think this feels almost like a flagship phone in regular usage. So I don't think most consumers buying this will be disappointed whatsoever with the performance, and that's a good thing for this device. Next up, I love the 6-inch display because a 6-inch display does give you a pretty good size. It's not too monstrously large and not too small where you're, you know, desperate for a little bit more screen space. So this is a pretty good size. It's kind of like Galaxy S10, iPhone XR size right here for the Pixel 3 XL. So definitely like the size. It's a little bit wide, so if you don't like wide phones, you might not like this, but still really good size at 6 inches. I like the peace of mind that the polycarbonate shell offers with the Pixel 3 XL. Now, yes, you could say no wireless charging, I'll never buy a plastic phone again. This feels pretty good quality for the money. I mean, it doesn't feel super cheap. Yes, it feels cheaper than glass phones, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel like a cheap garbage phone when you do hold it. It feels like a little bit substantial. It's got a decent amount of weight to it, and it feels pretty solid. Like if I dropped this, I wouldn't be scared about it, you know, breaking or anything like that. I would put a screen protector on this and I would just use this phone without a case, honestly, because I'm not nervous about the back of this device. But if you're gonna keep it long term, of course, you wanna put a case on it to protect that camera right there from getting cracked. Next up is the headphone jack. Now at this price point, I'm sure a lot of people are probably not buying the, you know, Sony headphones, the Microsoft headphones, the Bose headphones that are Bluetooth and all those, you know, Bluetooth devices. They might just still have an old pair of headphones with a wired connection, and having this on the Pixel 3 XL is something that made me love this device a little bit more. Now I also love that this phone doesn't have a notch. Now I do realize that this design is conservative. It looks a little bit old, but I never really liked the obtrusions. I really either liked having, you know, minimal bezels. This is not super huge. I mean, I've seen bigger bezels than this. I think it's conservative design, but I think the software makes up for this design not being, you know, the most cutting edge looking or just kind of looking like a Pixel 2 XL, to be honest. Now I love this phone because of the vibration motor in this device. So when you are like typing on this phone, it's super easy to feel a very strong vibration through the keyboard, as well as when you just click home right here. So if I am typing in this document, it's something you're not going to see here on screen, but you feel it a lot. So the Pixel 3 XL has a very strong vibration motor. That's a great thing as well. Now, of course, I do love the camera on this phone. It has the Pixel 3 camera sensor. Now the photo results aren't quite, I'm seeing, as great as the Pixel 3 XL, but they're right there. Like, it's very minimal. Like, it might be this minimal if I could show it visually in terms of the result difference. So for the money, this is probably the best camera you can get, hands down. Here is a picture with some color in it, and you could see definitely Really good results. Let's go over to the next photo. Swipe over. This is a sunset. Just take a look at the dynamic range. The quality is there for the Pixel 3a XL. You're gonna have a hard time beating this camera at this money. Now there's a selfie quality. You can see selfies are very strong on here as well. You do lose the wide angle front facing selfie, so that you might not like if you wanted a wide angle selfie. That's kind of exclusive to the Pixel 3 and 3 XL. But at the same time, the selfie quality is very good, so I don't think it's gonna bug too many people. Now I took a picture of some birds just kind of flying away right there, but you can see, just look at the color on that OLED screen. The detail is there. I mean, software is really doing great stuff here. You have night sight, you have portrait modes here, which also work well. You have 4K 30 video. I mean, this thing has it when it comes to the camera. So definitely consider this if you want a great camera at a cheaper price point. One of the reasons I loved it is that it gave me a premium camera experience at a not so premium price. I also like the always on display for this phone. Now this is not exclusive to the Pixel, but having always on display is always a nice touch. In addition, I like that this phone has NFC on board. You can use this for Google Pay and it's gonna be very reliable. NFC is something you don't typically find on phones at this price point. So NFC, really good stuff here. Next up, the Squeeze Assistant feature. What's the weather like today? So it's pretty nice in Chicago, but you've seen the squeeze feature is awesome for this device. Bluetooth 5.0 is on board as well. I love that about the Pixel 3a XL. And I thought that the speakers on this phone, one up here and one down here, were actually quite loud. So that's a good thing as well. They didn't skimp out on the audio. So you can see plenty loud. If I cover it up, you can still hear it. If I cover it up, you can still hear it. Yes, it's not as full, it's not as rich as, you know, $1,000 phones, but still, dual speakers, not bad here for this device. And I like the placement of the fingerprint sensor. I don't think it's a bad location. If you like it on the front, you might not like this phone, but I think if you're gonna put it on the back, Google has put it in the right place. Your finger kind of naturally just rests there, and it has this nice little swipe gesture to bring down notifications. So I kind of like where it's at. If you're gonna have it on the back, they put it in the right place here for the 3a XL. And finally, battery life on this phone. I wanted to save the best for last because battery life is just excellent. I'm going into the next day. I'm getting around 5.5 hours of screen time. It's better than the Pixel 3 and 3 XL. Need I say more? We don't need to say much more. This phone can go the distance. Heavy users will have no trouble getting through the day. And finally, I love that you can go ahead and have an easy time fixing this phone, as iFixit has torn it down and has claimed that this phone is not that bad. It's pretty easy to fix, actually, the Google Pixel 3a XL. So this is a good long-term phone. You got security updates, you got a plastic phone, so it probably won't, you know, have a problem breaking. You have to pay these prices to have it fixed because it's a glass back. You have easy repairability scores. You also can get this pretty cheap. I think it's a good value phone right here. Yes, it's not cutting edge. It's not the latest and greatest design, but for what it offers, I think this is gonna be a pretty good option if you're willing to try the Android experience, or if you had, you know, an older Android phone from a while back and you just want something a little more modern, but you're like, no, I'm tired of these $1,000 price points. I am putting off upgrading. Now might be the time with the Pixel 3a XL. So what are your thoughts about this one? Comment them down below. Do you think it's a great value? Think it's a horrible value? Do you think it's awesome? I personally love it for what it is. I mean, I don't think it's the best phone out there, but for what it is, I do love it. It's a good sign for things to come. This can be a good sign for, you know, cheaper budget flagships to come in the future. Anyway, if you guys found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.